Tommy and Pommy were two black dogs. They were twin brothers. They lived in a forest and loved each other very much. Their eyes were big and blood red, and they looked scary, but their hearts were kind. They loved all animals, and all animals loved them too. Tommy and Pommy often helped young animals. Life was peaceful and happy. But one year, a terrible drought came. The rain stopped falling. Rivers became dry, and ponds started shrinking. Many animals began moving to another part of the forest. Pommy wanted to leave too, but Tommy was not ready. One day, Tommy and Pommy were drinking water from a muddy pond. Very little water was left in it. Just then, an elephant named Molly passed by, with her two children, Emo and Joji. Pommy called out,
"Sister Molly, where are you going?"
Molly smiled sadly.
I am going to another part of the forest. It is very hard to find leaves now, and there is hardly any grass left. Emo and Joji are still young. I cannot see them stay hungry.
Pommy sighed. Molly then looked at Tommy.
Tommy, you and Pommy should leave too.
Tommy stayed silent. Pommy nodded firmly.
"We will leave soon."
Molly smiled gently and walked away with her children. After she left, Pommy looked at Tommy.
"Tommy, we cannot live here without food. Look at the pond. There is barely any water left now."
Tommy looked at the muddy pond and sighed.
Okay,
He said quietly.
we will leave tomorrow.
The next morning, Tommy and Pommy left the forest. They walked for hours under the hot sun. Soon, both brothers became tired and thirsty. Tommy was breathing heavily.
I don't think I can walk anymore.
He said. Pommy looked at him and said,
"Come on, brother. We have to keep going. We will find a better place soon."
Tommy nodded and continued walking. After some time, they found a small pond. Only a little water was left in it. The two brothers quickly drank some water. Then they continued their journey. After walking for many more hours, they reached another part of the forest. Tall green trees stood everywhere. Not far away, there was a large pond filled with clear, fresh water. Pommy's eyes lit up.
"Tommy! Look!
He shouted excitedly.
There is a pond!"
Tommy looked up and smiled.
Thank God.
He said. Both brothers ran towards the pond and drank water desperately. After drinking, Pommy smiled.
"I can't remember the last time we drank so much water."
Tommy smiled softly. Then he lay down under a tree.
Now I am going to sleep. I am so tired.
Pommy lay down beside him. Within minutes, both brothers fell asleep. The next morning, Tommy and Pommy woke up. They stretched their tired bodies and slowly got up. Both felt hungry and thirsty again. They went to the pond and drank water. After that, they started eating some fresh green leaves nearby. Just then, a group of beautiful deer came to the pond to drink water. Pommy looked at them and said,
Tommy, look, deer are at the pond.
Tommy smiled and walked towards them.
Hi.
Tommy said politely,
We live in another part of the forest. There was a drought there. So we came here. We are happy to meet you.
but one deer, named Foggy, looked at them proudly.
But we don't like you.
Foggy said coldly,
You are black and look scary. We are beautiful and graceful.
Tommy's smile disappeared. Pommy felt hurt and quietly patted Tommy's shoulder.
Let's go, brother.
He said softly. Both brothers turned back and walked slowly to the tree. An old deer named Ola shook his head.
Foggy, don't behave like this. We should live together as friends.
But Foggy smiled proudly.
We don't need to be friends with those scary dogs.
Ola sighed and looked disappointed. Foggy's son, Zozo, did not agree with his father. But he stayed silent. One day, Zozo was eating leaves near the trees. Tommy was sitting under a tree, and Pommy was sleeping nearby. Zozo tried to reach a high branch. He jumped but slipped and fell down.
Ouch!
Zozo cried in pain. Tommy quickly ran to him. He reached Zozo and carefully looked at his leg. There was a scratch, and it was bleeding. Tommy smiled gently.
Don't worry.
He took some dry sand and gently put it on the wound. Then he picked a soft leaf and placed it on the cut.
This will stop the bleeding soon.
Tommy said kindly. Zozo looked at him with relief.
I am Zozo.
Tommy smiled back.
I am Tommy. And that sleeping one over there is my brother Pommy.
They talked for a little while. After some time, Zozo slowly stood up.
I should go now, or my mom will get angry.
He said. Tommy nodded.
Yes, go carefully.
Zozo walked back home. As soon as he reached there, all the deer looked worried. Zozo's mother, Somi, came quickly.
Zozo, where were you? And what happened to your leg?
Zozo sat down.
Mom, don't worry. I was trying to pick a branch. I jumped and fell down.
He smiled.
Tommy helped me a lot. He put sand on my wound, and the bleeding stopped.
Ola looked at Foggy and said,
See? Those dogs are kind.
but Foggy stayed silent. Ola sighed.
He will never change.
The next afternoon, Zozo came to see Tommy and Pommy. Pommy was eating grass nearby. He looked at Zozo, smiled, and quietly walked away. Zozo smiled and said,
Hi, brother.
Tommy smiled back.
Hi, Zozo. How is your wound now?
Zozo nodded.
It's fine now.
He hesitated for a moment.
Brother, can I come to meet you? I mean, I like you.
Tommy looked at him gently.
Did your parents give permission?
Zozo looked down.
Mom will not have a problem, but
He paused.
my father doesn't like you and your brother Pommy.
Tommy's smile slowly faded. Then he said calmly,
Then you should not come here. Maybe we are enemies.
He added firmly.
You should go now.
Zozo's face fell. He looked hurt.
But my heart says you are our friends, not enemies.
Zozo said softly. Then he turned and slowly walked away. Tommy stood still and watched him go. He smiled sadly. One day, Tommy was resting under a tree. Pommy was a little far away near some bushes. Just then, two hunters came and sat under a tree, a few steps away from Pommy. Pommy overheard their conversation. One hunter said.
There is no deer here.
The other replied.
No, there is a group of deer here. I heard it from my friend. Just stay calm and wait.
Pommy's eyes widened in fear. He turned and ran quickly. He reached Tommy, breathing heavily.
Tommy! Tommy!
Pommy shouted. Tommy sat up quickly.
What happened, Pommy?
Pommy pointed toward the hunters.
Tommy! The deer are in danger! Look! They are hunters! They came for hunting deer!
Tommy stood up firmly.
We will not let this happen. We will protect them.
Pommy nodded strongly. Both brothers stepped forward. Just then, Zozo was coming toward the pond. Tommy and Pommy both looked pale.
Zozo! Zozo! Don't come here!
Tommy shouted. At the same time, the deer group also appeared. One hunter set his arrow.
Ready?
The other smiled.
Yes.
They aimed their arrows. Tommy and Pommy ran toward them. The hunters got shocked.
Oh God! Shoot those black dogs!
The fight began. Arrows were fired everywhere. Zozo's eyes widened in fear. Ola shouted loudly.
Don't stay in the open! Hide quickly!
Foggy also called out.
Everyone move behind the thick trees. Stay low.
All the deer quickly ran in different directions to take cover. Zozo helped the younger deer and guided them to safety. Just then, Pommy was hit by an arrow and fell down.
Pommy!
Tommy shouted in shock. Tommy's eyes filled with anger. He rushed forward. and attacked one of the hunters with full force. The hunter fell back. Tommy growled and tried to continue fighting. At that moment, one of the hunters quickly aimed again and fired an arrow. The arrow hit Tommy. Tommy's body shook, and he fell down to the ground. The hunters became scared and injured. They ran away. Zozo's eyes filled with tears.
Brother Tommy! Pull me!
His mother Somi hugged him tightly, trying to calm him. All the deer came forward with sad faces. Fogi and Ola stepped closer too. Their eyes were filled with guilt and sadness. Fogi walked slowly toward Tommy's body.
Brother, you were kind. I did not behave well with you.
His eyes filled with tears. Then Ola stepped toward Pomi.
You were great.
He said softly.
Salute to both of you, brothers.
All the deer stood silently with tears in their eyes. Even Fogi and Ola were crying, their heads lowered in guilt and sadness. A heavy sadness filled the forest. Moral: good hearts are known by actions, not looks.